Hey everyone, Nanette Lazina here. I am the Chief Partner Officer here at SAP. Thank you so much, PREMIKATI, for having this event. It is guaranteed to be an amazing time. During our time together, we have two customer stories, one that is just beginning their digital transformation journey and another that is already in the process of optimizing it. Our first speaker will be a mid-market high-growth organization, Ascend Elements, and they're going to talk about how they are using SAP to help handle their growth as well as their roadmap for future projects. And then next, we will have HHMI, and they will offer a lens of large enterprise organizations who are already using the full suite of products, but they understand that the journey is ongoing and their adoption is paramount. So first up, we have Rodrigo Almeida from Supply Chain and Purchasing Director of Ascend Elements, and then over to Pamela Harris, Procurement Technology Manager of Howard Hughes Medical Institute, and our moderator will be Kevin Curtis, Vice President Enterprise Development for PREMIKATI. Over to you, Kevin.
Awesome. Thank you, Nanette. And let me make sure. Yes, I'm off mute. Perfect. Hey, Rodrigo and Pam, I just wanted to give you guys maybe a couple seconds, and Pam, why don't you go first here? Just a really brief introduction, maybe a little bit about yourselves, a little bit about Howard Hughes Medical, and then kind of, how you got into the whole Ariba journey, and then we'll pivot from you over to Rodrigo.
Yeah, for sure. Can you hear me?
You're coming through loud and clear.
Come through loud and clear. Great. Hi, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the bourbons and that makes our speaking that much more engaging for you. So, as mentioned, I'm Pam Harris. I am the manager of procurement technology, which is a fancy way of saying I manage our Ariba solution at Howard Hughes Medical Institute. I had this big, long speech planned out about getting you excited about what Howard Hughes Medical Institute does, but you'll have to go to our website to find out more information. But we're a medical research organization, nonprofit with a private endowment. We're based out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. What else was I supposed to say, Kevin? I enjoy long.
Just maybe kind of like, where you guys are kind of in your journey. I know you've been around for a long time. You've obviously been a long time Ariba customer, but kind of where are you guys at right now, briefly?
For sure. So we've been live with Ariba Procure to Pay in different flavors of that since about 2010, 2011. Our most recent instance of that has us integrated with our ERP system, which is Workday. And the most recent innovation that we've done was implemented guided buying as a already existing customer of buying and invoicing. So that's been an interesting journey.
Awesome. No, thank you very much, Pam. That's good. Actually, one of my first on-demand deployments back in 2010. So that brings back some memories for me. Rodrigo, how about just a couple about yourself, and then we'll get into a couple of questions. You're muted.
Yeah, I just realized that. Well, thanks for having me here. Thanks for the invite. I'm the supply chain director at Ascend Elements. To answer what we got us in the Ariba journey, it's important to put a context on an Ascend Element. So we are a young company. It's the first time that I actually work for a young, smaller organization. My whole career was in huge companies like Unilever and Dow for many years there. And I joined Ascend about 1.5 years ago. You can say we're still a startup. We got to unicorn status last year. So we're in a very fast growth trajectory. So what we do is we are in the EV battery space. So what we do is we get an end-of-life EV battery. We get it, we scrap it, we destroy it, we recycle and get the metals from it, and those metals were originally mined somewhere in the world. We use that as a feedstock to produce something that goes back into a brand new EV battery. And with that, we close the loop, and there are a bunch of advantages there on the process and sustainability. And we have a site already in Georgia. We're building a massive site in Kentucky. So Rob probably will recommend you to some of the Kentucky colleagues there. And as we're working to build our site, and it's a $1 billion investment site, you don't do that without a lot of purchasing, a lot of negotiation, a lot of sourcing events, and a lot of contracts being signed. So that's what got us into the Ariba journey. Everything was being done by emails and files saved in different locations, which works, and a lot of people do it, but it's not ideal. So we were at a point that, okay, we need to put a little bit more structure to make this work the way it does work or it's supposed to work. So now we have Ariba.
Awesome. Awesome. No, that's cool. Listen, I could riff on the whole anode, cathode, raw material, EV market forever, because that super excites me. But I think just as a follow-up, so obviously you guys are in an emerging market. I would assume, just based on everything when you hear about Tesla and Rivian, obviously, shout out to Chris Folsom in Normal, Illinois, with their products. But obviously the market is exploding. And you'd mentioned the, just kind of some of the infrastructure and everything else there. So, I know you had mentioned earlier when we were chatting about, hey, you've stood up S4, and you've got now you've got the Ariba platform. I guess, as you look at these tools that you've added into your mix, what are you looking for in terms of them continuing to support you guys? Frankly, as the EV industry certainly, but obviously as yourselves continue to just explode up.
S4 and Ariba will be foundational for us. I say will be because we just started. We've implemented SAP in January. I see the comment there on EV batteries. SAP went live in January. Ariba went live 6 months before. So we're still all getting used to it. It was a very fast implementation, and we're really just scratching the surface, especially with Ariba, but probably Ariba and S4. We have some processes that were implemented. Some of them, okay, we got what we had and transformed to the tool. Others, okay, what SAP and Ariba brings to us, and let adjust ourselves to these processes that are well developed. We're a young company, so everybody in the company comes with years of experience. But it's a young company, right? So it's limited amount of biases that we all have, because we don't have this. This is how we've been doing for 20 years, because we're all developing this now. So I say that these two tools together are kind of helping us shape what we want to look like.
On that, and this is actually perfect, because I was going to follow up with you on this. One of the questions in the chat was, hey, and what would you consider fast from an implementation standpoint? And just kind of riffing on that a little bit, as you look back at obviously both deploying a full ERP and then Ariba before that as well, was there anything like unique or different, especially, given your experience just overall, in terms of the implementation approach or whatever, that you experienced or dealt with as a frankly new customer to SAP across the board?
When I say fast, we signed up for Ariba, and with PREMIKATI, we had like a bit of time to discuss and like a high level strategize what we wanted. And then we got together, it went live in a few days. That's how fast I'm talking about. SAP was done in less than 6 months for us. Now it's a phased implementation. We didn't do the whole thing, and that was on purpose. That was the strategy, not to do the whole thing. So when I say fast, it's that fast.
Yeah, that's light speed fast, especially in terms of ERP. Quick pivot now. Hey, Pam. So, obviously 2010, as I mentioned, I dated myself. I can go back a little bit further. Even I might have or may not have had hair when I started out with all this. But over the course of time with Howard Hughes, right? Obviously, you guys have gone through several business transformation efforts, I'm guessing, both inside and outside of Ariba. One of the things that I would always run across when we were doing deployments or even helping out existing customers is what I would call as a zombie deployment, right? Where the tool gets set up and then the project team leaves and it's just kind of running itself. So kind of as the experienced person on here, how have you guys been able to just continually adopt and change and work with the system and let it continue to grow with you?
It's definitely been a process. I say we definitely in the beginning fell into I don't know if I use the word zombies. I thought there was like a more elegant way to say that. But yeah,
Zombies more
I
fun.
guess we were zombies. Yeah, right. Sort of. It's easy, right? Once you stand it up, kind of in a good way, right? Kind of runs itself. But on the other hand of that, because it runs itself, it's easy to get stagnant. And that's something that I think we ran into for quite some time here, where, hey, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. But that's definitely a problem, right? When you're talking about technology, because technology is constantly changing, business needs are constantly changing, the workforce is constantly changing, right? So you have new people coming in, they're like, oh, AI can do this. And did you know there's machine learning? And we're like, no, you click on a button and that's how you do this, right? So it was kind of imperative for us to start to look at being more transformative in how we use both the Ariba system and how we looked at technology as a whole. We are good at using best in class technologies, but maybe needed to grow a little bit more in using those best in class technologies to the best of their ability. So that's kind of where we came in on starting to interview our user groups and find out what it is that they needed, and then going back and saying, hey, oh, actually, the Ariba system can do that if we look at implementing guided buying and some of the other technologies that have happened more recently. So we're kind of worried. We're slow to change. We work with scientists. If anyone has ever worked with a scientist, scientists are probably the most superstitious people that exist. So things like, changing who you buy beakers from or changing pipette tips can, drastically affect the results of experiments. So we do have to be wary with how we change, but we were able to convince and show our user community that, hey, this is for the best and will help you get back to the business of doing science more quickly. So it was for us a journey of bringing our customers or the users along with us to show how this change would, be a better experience for them and let them get back to the really cool work that they do of advancing science and moving it forward. And then similar to what Rodrigo was saying, we are taking an iterative approach to this of improving the system, not trying to eat the entire elephant at once, but sort of, piecemeal, feeding it to our users, the small changes, but small to them, but big impact. So that's really been where we've been over the past, I would say, 18 to 24 months, and continuing on that journey over the next 2 or 3 years, I would say.
Have just kind of curious, have you kind of seen any emergent best practices as you've kind of gone through this a little bit? And I think the answer to your statement was Fisher Scientific and only boron silicate glass forever. But are there any specific best practices that you've kind of seen emerge?
So I can tell you what our best practices are. We are a very unique organization, but I think the best practices sort of can speak across industries, which is, first of all, making sure you define what the objectives are, not just implementing technology for the sake of implementing technology, but what is it that you're trying to achieve by implementing that technology? And the reason why that's important is because it's going to help with adoption later on, right? If it's just you're just buying the newest shiny thing because that's what it does, but you don't bring your users along with you to show how it improves their daily life, it doesn't really help anything. So along those lines, once you are ready to be iterative and move along, then bringing your executives along with you, for us at least, that's a really big thing, right? So making sure you have executive support, you have those objectives defined, you're willing to start small with those changes. You've got your change management in place for that. That's been huge. You can't sort of leave that to the last minute. We had change management, from the very beginning all the way up until we were live, and continue to work with our change management group to provide training for our end users. And then effective communication. So, I can't understate how important it is to almost over communicate what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it will help and improve lives. Because at the end of the day, right, that's all people really care about, right? Like, what does this mean for me, and will it improve my day-to-day life? Because if it doesn't, then that's great. But yeah, next, right?
No,
I'm not going to read that email. So
I think you're spot on. I mean, everyone's always to acronymize it. You know, I would say it's always the whiffum factor. What's in it for me at the end of the day, right? So
Sure.
I think that's spot on. Hey, Rodrigo, let me kind of bounce over to you here for a second. You know, I mean, I think obviously you guys are on you're right at the beginning of probably an S curve in terms of the overall growth that you're going to be experiencing in terms of your roadmap for your solution. You know, in the Ariba space, certainly SAP S4 potentially, but you know, where are you guys charted out overall in terms of, you know, what is your roadmap for the future?
So this is hopefully just the beginning for us. We're always discussing what is the next big thing on the technology that we can implement, what additional AI can contribute to all of our process, and what can we do based on what matters to us right now, what's affordable to be done, and what makes more sense. Right? And that also includes when is the right timing to do the rest of the Ariba implementation, for example. Hopefully that will be relatively soon, but we're not there yet. And what other add-ons to SAP we need to discuss? Our roadmap for the next 2-3 years includes a long list of solutions to be implemented, but we're trying to keep our focus and resources where it really matters the most right now. The main goal of Ascend Elements at this point is to get our Kentucky site up and running. And all of our effort and focus and resources are dedicated to that, so we can do as fast as we can. It's a sold out site already. So the fastest it's up, the better for us. So we'll go live now with what is really foundational for us, and then we'll allow ourselves to be more creative, or at least to execute on the current creativity on what we have to do. So I say the next 2-3 years is more on core foundational investments on safety related topics and tools until we expand from there.
Awesome. No, that's thank you for the insight on that. Pam, real quickly, just bounce back to you, and I'm trying. I know I just glanced at my at the clock. Looks like it's almost 5 o'clock, so we'll wrap it up. If there's any questions, I'll let you talk here. But I just wanted to say before we get to the fourth shot, if there's any questions, please throw them into the text, the chat, and we'll go ahead and get them. But Pam, same thing. You know, in terms of obviously as a more experienced organization, where are you guys at in terms of kind of continuing to move forward and evolve with the industry and the needs of your organization?
Yeah, we, like I said, kind of took a piecemeal approach to implementing guided buying. So we're looking at how we can further adoption on, is that a word? I didn't even have any bourbon. I don't know what's going on. So how we can get further adoption with our end users, again, on the guided buying solution. And then, you know, looking towards how we can fix some of the business processes. Something that I neglected to bring up earlier was, I would say that that's also sort of a best practice, is to make sure that you've identified what the gaps are in your business processes first. So that can sort of drive where you're going with your roadmap and again, how you're going to improve people's lives. I think it was a question from Evan, right? As far as how we identify opportunities, that's for sure, at least at my organization, we want to keep our scientists happy. So it's sort of their word is law here. And so we do a lot of focus groups. We do a lot of surveys. We do a lot of what are your pain points? We map out those processes, and then we match that up against what technology do we currently have? What are we not using? Where can we make experiences better for people? And because we have that, you know, philosophy of using best in class technology, we've been fortunate that the systems that we're using, like, you know, Ariba, can usually fill in those gaps. It's just a matter of us adopting those pieces of the technology so that we can be more efficient.
Awesome.
Is that a good answer? Was that a bad answer?
It was a fantastic. It was an honest answer, and that's
I can't
really all
see
you can ask
people's
for.
faces, so
We can blame Mike for that. No,
there we
listen.
go.
I think that's spot on. I think that's spot on.
Yeah, okay, and then hopefully that answered your question.
So yeah, listen, guys, I really, a couple of things. So number one, thank you so much for jumping on here and chatting with us. Really trying to be aware of the time. I know it's 5 o'clock. So we will go ahead, pivot back to the next bourbon, number 4, I think. But once again, Rodrigo, Pam, completely appreciate you jumping on here, sharing some of your insights. to anyone else that's out there, to the team that's out there right now, if you have any questions, follow-ups, etc., don't hesitate to obviously email us directly, and we'll work on getting those answered overall.
Thank you everyone for joining. This was an awesome opportunity. You can see I'm a little red already from the bourbon that I did partake in. This is one of the reasons why I do go with the clear liquids. Vodka is the only one that doesn't do this to me. So, however, I can tell you that my husband will definitely be enjoying the rest of the bourbon later on this evening. So, thank you everyone. Thank you so much, especially PREMIKATI for pulling this together, and for our speakers. It's individuals like yourself that share your best practices that are out there that really makes a difference to the other customers and prospects that we have. So thank you for taking the time and spreading the good word.